So you know what it's like, guys. It's like when you're gonna have your first baby. You're never ready for the moment. Might think you are, right? But then wifey comes up and says, "It's time." I can do better than that. It's time. It's one of the, you know what I mean? You're never ready for the moment. And one of my friends, been practicing his CW skills. Well, he's the subject of the last video I posted. And I knew he already told me he wanted to work me for his first QSO. And I thought, how cool, man. What a lucky guy I am. You know what I mean? Who deserves such good luck as that? And I'm serious. Check these flowers out on the cucumbers. And yeah, I know he's been progressing. He's been using the tools that he uses and been progressing. uh, I thought it. Last night he asked me, "So you want to try making a QSO?" Holy shit. Say what? Yeah, I thought I was ready, and the bottom fell out of my stomach, man. And oh, I made so many mistakes. Hey guys, I know your first QSO's tough, man. It's freaking tough. But man, uh, looking back on it, oh, I remember my first contact. It was a disaster. I remember the details of the contact. I don't remember what fear I felt. I was a kid. I probably felt none. I was stupid. I used to jump my bike over 6-foot high ramps that I soaked in gasoline and lit on fire. um, I made so many mistakes. Oh, Fred, I'm so sorry, man. If I could go back and redo that QSO, and you said we'll come up with a sched and we'll get you some good on-air practice time. It'll give me good on-air practice time too, man. Keeping it simple for you. I need practice with that. You know what I mean? I can slow down, but I made so many mistakes, things I do differently. And I'm going to take you in. I've been jotting down some things. I learned a lesson. I was humbled, big time. I was humbled by that QSO with you, Fred. And I learned a big time lesson in how to carry on with brand new operators. And, you know, I want to talk about something in the house. Hang on, I'm going to pause you. Something's slipping my mind that's important to me. Hang on. Oh, yeah. In that, oh my God, I had no idea how bad it could get. Fred, you poor, poor man. You poor guy. Oh my God, you're up against it, mister. I suggested Fred call CQ, so he did, and what happened? Someone else pounced on him. Someone else, and he wouldn't go away. I thought to myself, as soon as I heard that other guy calling him, I thought, no, no, no. Just go away. Please leave. Leave Fred alone. Leave us be, man. It's his first QSO. And the guy wouldn't shut up. The guy wouldn't go away. And my problem was, on my end, he and Fred sounded the same. When they mixed together, they were one signal. I couldn't tell them apart. I didn't know who was sending. It was awesome. It was the most beautiful thing. It was the most beautiful CWQSO I've ever had in my whole life. And I'm not kidding about that. That was an amazing experience, man. Now, sure as I'm Chuck, I wouldn't also be Blozo. Man, I need help, man. I'm deranged. If we didn't come out and admire a pile of garbage, we pay homage to a pile of crap. Oh man, I dearly affectionately call the Michigan cacti. Hang on. Right. Next time we do this, see, the thing is, I got the text message out of the blue, man. About scared the shit out of me, man. Fred, you scared. And, but that's okay. I'm going to slide this paper into my desk drawer. And this is how we got to stick to script, guys. Got to. It'll take the pressure off of you. It'll take, yeah, it'll take some of the pressure off. And you could either, swap the calls around. If you want me to call you, that works, or you can call me. But, and I suggest, you know why I wrote down sending my call, then your call? Let's say you're kooky. You're K0OKY, all right? You're going to call me, okay? We've agreed. And we picked a frequency, and you're going to call me. And why did I write down my call sign 3 times? Because the more you send, the more comfortable you're going to get. Send, 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 on air, Get really repetitive and boring just for the satisfaction of tossing some watts into the air. Just for the satisfaction of sending Morse code CW, which you worked your butts off to do, to learn. That's what I suggest as a script. Send my call 3 times, sign it with your call 3 times, then send the letter K to turn it over, or KN. Okay? I've got my keyer set to 18 words a minute, so this is what those characters would sound like. And Fred mentioned the fact that he's still freaked on abbreviation and such. And I didn't use much, but I used some. And looking back on it, I would keep it to an absolute minimum. And for my next QSO with him, I will be. But when you turn it over, okay, call me 3 times, send your call 3 times, then a K. Yeah, Blozo. No, I'm not even going to pause you, man, because you shouldn't have to pay for my idiocy. Okay, the rig's on, side tone turned on, break-in function off. Okay, so you gotta remember to turn it over. You gotta turn it over in a conversation with a simple K. And that's it. Or if you want KN, if you're already in a QSO. But I forgo the KN, man. You don't need it. If you hear it, you need to recognize it when you hear it. Or maybe they'll put a little bit of a space between the two. But the letter K. Okay? And I could call you or you could call me. It doesn't matter either way, but we can't have some wingnut, some Nimrod screwing with you on your first QSO. That was so wrong, man. And it was the most beautiful thing. I'm not pausing you, damn it. It was beautiful, man. I bet your Fred will never forget that jacknut screwing at him the whole time. So, here are the characters. Guys, I don't care how much you've practiced your CW. I don't care how well you think you know the abbreviations. And you probably do. You may or you may not. But when you do learn them and think you know them well, write them down and stick it on the wall. Stick it on the desk right in front of your face, man. And see the ones in blue, highlighted in blue? Those are your best friends. As a new CW operator, those are your very, very best friends. They'll buy you things. It's currency. It's money in your pocket. It'll buy you time. It'll buy you restoration of sanity. Don't think you're going to lose it mentally? So those, I'm telling you, man, The hyphen. The good old hyphen. Right? You know what, man? You freak out? Send a string of hyphens while you gather yourself. Or think of something else to say, right? Because a lot of times I, in a rag chew, I'm like, yeah, what else should I, It's a time buyer, man. Okay, don't forget it, man. It can really, And see, me on the other end, I heard that, you let out those hyphens and then you said, oof, because you needed a break. See, I'm sitting on the other end, and you know what I heard? I just heard the operator I'm in QSO with taking a break, thinking. It's thinking time, man. Buys you time. Use it. Use it a lot. I do. Everyone does. And the other one, AS. Now that is really your best friend, and it's run together. Okay. That is your super friend. He's a superhero in your day when you're making your first handful of CWQSOs. I remember when I was married to Sherry and my kids were small and growing up, and I had my little tiny Radio Shack in the second bathroom upstairs, right? And little tiny bathroom, man, just enough room for a sink, a toilet, and a cabinet. That's it. It was like 5 feet square, literally. And my kids can't come in constantly with me. And when things got, usually I learned to talk to them and carry on my QSO at the same time, but sometimes I had to leave the key. Sometimes because Sherry was in college at the time, and I got home from work early, from the hospital. I got home at 3:30 in the afternoon, and I took care of the kids till Sherry got home, and then we'd make dinner together. And anyway, sometimes I'd have to leave the radio, and but I didn't want to leave the QSO, so I had to run down. And you know what? It's generally understood if you send me a couple ASs, I know you got something going on, and you got to stop sending. You're going to be back. You might be back in 30 seconds. You might be back in 5 minutes. And yes, I used to wait 5 minutes for somebody to come back because I was hanging out with QRPers. I was running some mighty low power. And I had nothing better to do. If you tell me you'll be back and you'll be back, I'll wait for you, man. You know, if you guys, and I mention that for a reason, if you fall completely apart mentally, and you just need to calm you need to let the smoke settle for a second. If you're in a QSO with me or anybody else, just send a couple. I suggest 2 or 3, and you can take as long as you want to recover mentally. You know, and if you want to break it off at that point, you don't owe anybody an explanation. You can come back with a thank you and a 73. So, telling you, man, your best friends, you need to write this shit down. You need to keep it on the wall right in front of you. BK. Now we got to talk about turning it over. I had trouble with that last night with Fred. I didn't know when he was done sending, and mostly because of that jack nut. But you know, you you must turn it back over. You know, you can be cruising along, and I've mentioned this in the QSO before, but you can be cruising along in a conversation, and just drop a BK and stop. And it's the other guy's turn. You know, typically you might end with a question or something, or a BK, to you, you know, back to you or something. But you know, you've got to turn it over with a an abbreviation. You got to turn it over when you're done talking. Otherwise, everybody's befuddled and confused. You know, you can send K. You know, you might send back and abbreviate back BK to you, and then a BK. You know, I'll send back BK. Bad choice. I'll send back to you and then a K. Now it's your turn. Or you can use the letter K, you know. Your turn. Tag, you're it. And so you have to turn it over. You have to turn it over somehow. If and looking back on our conversation last night, Fred and my contact last night, I got confused because mostly because of that other ham. I don't know how loud he was on Fred's end, but he and Fred were equal on my end, and exactly on the same pitch within a hertz. My musical ears couldn't differentiate them, you know. And where was I going with that? Oh, oftentimes I couldn't tell if Fred had turned it back over to me. So what I suggest in the future, if you guys want to try to QSO with me in your first few QSOs or set up a sched for practice, you need to turn it over. And if I don't know, I might have missed it. You know what I mean? And if I'm confused about that, I'll just issue a couple question marks, you know. And if you turn it over, just send a BK. And I would think, oh, he turned it over to me. Okay. And I'd carry on, you know. Okay, so at the risk of babbling even forever, at the risk of babbling forever, and I'm going to feature a different color highlighter for my pointer. You're very lucky. Oh, I can't say it. That's too much bullshit. These other items are items that I will not use an abbreviation other than what you see. I will not use anything other than those. I promise you. If I end up in a QSO with you. And honestly, in our first QSO, which ones would I use? I might use TU for thank you. I'll probably use UR for your RST is, for example. I'm going to use DE, have to when I sign. I'm going to probably, knowing me, man, I'm a blozo, I'll probably use high and it's left. Wow, really, Chuck? I'm not going to edit that out, man. This is a this is a faux reels special. Faux reels. Where was I? Oh, hi. I was gonna grab my key and send a hi laughter and a hyphen. R for received. QSL for or you could use QSL. I suggest going with RPT. People use it for both report and repeat, and I suggest when you're new to CW, use it. Repeat name. You might send a hyphen, and then if it were me, I said, please repeat your name, and then I said name question mark BK. Or you might say name again, BK. okay? You'll use RST for signal reports. People use for 4, you know. It's just, why not? Thank you guys for watching my silly vids. It does mean a lot to me. I know this is pretty boring stuff, you know, but I'm if it helps, if it helps, maybe you could list the different abbreviations and do something, do whatever. List them and list the characters you'll hear in a way that makes sense to you, that you can easily scan with your eyes, you know, when you're in a QSO. That, and please, man, I do recommend making a list. And same thing here, yeah, well, yeah, for all of those. If you need the Morse characters and dots and dashes written next to it, that's fine. That's fine. And use your CW decoders. If you have one and you don't use it, you're a fool. You're brave, but you're a brave fool. You know, lots of brave men went down in flames. I don't want you to. These are your best friends in the whole world. Oh shit, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to say thanks again for watching, man. I want to QSO with you guys. I was going to mention some comments that I received that really, really emotionally blew my mind. And, man, you know what, man? I cannot tell you guys how much I enjoy your comments. I bid you farewell. I bid you adieu. Take care. 73.